Welcome. This is Rabbit Holes with Aaron. I'm Aaron, 20-year Marine Corps veteran, and so many other things. I like hats. Not cats, but hats. And with me today, I have my dear friend, Jeff, who, well, we went to college together a little bit. We were in the same fraternity that was for veterans. Man, he was my vice president when I was the president of the fraternity. Yeah. So we go way back, maybe 4 years, but still, it's way back. And yeah, and he's doing something exciting. And tell us about that, Jeff.
All right, great. Thank you. Yeah. Do you like cats and hats? Are you a Dr. Seuss fan? What if the cat was wearing a hat?
Always a Dr. Seuss fan. Come on.
Yeah, it talks about it was 4 years ago, but that was 4 years of college, multiple years previous. So it's been way more than 4 years.
Okay.
I graduated in 2020 from University of
Oh,
North
yeah, yeah.
Texas. So it's been a couple of years. I started a coffee company, Corsair Coffee Company. We get our coffee from the farmer. So it's not been sitting in a warehouse, on a shipping dock, sitting on a store shelf, going stale. I get it from the farmer. We roast it. And so this is probably the freshest you're ever going to get fresh roasted coffee from green bean to roasted to in your cup within 3 or 4 days.
Sure. And you told me it has a completely different flavor.
Well, it does. Yeah, it does. The coffee has a rule of 15. Green coffee stays good as long as it's kept in like a Grain Pro bag for about 15 months. Once it's roasted, it starts losing flavor after 15 days.
Right.
Once you grind it, it starts losing flavor after 15 minutes. And so if you want fresh coffee at the peak flavor, you got to get it within 15 days of it being roasted. And that's what my company offers.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jeff. I mean, what topic are we starting with today?
We had a phone call last night for your listeners, and we had some really great topics. We were just running down rabbit holes, and then we slept, and so we don't remember any of those. But I think we were talking about homesteading
Okay.
and how I do remember now. Perfect. Self-reliance, cities versus rural communities.
Yeah.
All
We
coming
got into
back
some
now.
deep stuff.
I see. It's the coffee. Like I told you earlier, with other store bought coffees, I just wake up. But with my coffee, God speaks
Yeah.
to me.
There you go. There you
No,
go.
no, no, no. It's not Corsair Coffee Cult. It's Corsair Coffee Company. Okay, I'm not starting a new religion here. But
Oh my goodness.
we were talking about rural communities and their political leanings and their mindsets and their ideology and self reliance versus cities, and the way the world is pretty much taking things now. The UN has put forth this 15-minute super city plan that they're trying to incorporate everywhere, where everybody will live in a city like Tokyo. And that was one of the things we were discussing in this world population course I took at UNT, and they were promoting the idea how cities are the place to be, and I was a dissenter. So my essay got looked at really hard, and basically, rural communities rural communities are where it's at. They're self-reliant people, and that helps them form their ideology. That I don't welfare is great and charity is fantastic, but I don't depend on that. I take care of myself, and I try to help out my neighbors and my friends and my family.
Right.
Whereas in cities, they're always looking for somebody else to take care of them. Cities can't produce their own food. They have to have a whole network of rural communities to produce everything for them.
Yeah.
Even the power stations aren't in the city; they're outside the city limits. Everything. Cities are like a parasite, almost like a cancer cell.
Hmm.
They can't survive on their own. They draw from the surrounding communities to keep them alive
Okay.
for their existence. That leads to an ideology, a mentality of where somebody has to take care of me, rather than you
Yeah.
wake up out. I live out in the sticks. I bought a piece of land. It was just a bare piece of land. It used to be a cow pasture. I put in my own electric, my own water. Had my septic because you have to have a license for that. But I prepared the site and hooked that all up myself. I got a greenhouse. I got a pond that me and my best buddy Noe stocked with catfish and crappie and I got a little ecosystem going there. So pretty much the pond owns me because every morning I have to go take care of it. I'm telling you, it's very intensive to have a pond. There's algae growth concerns. You got to balance the fish. You got to have aerators. You got to have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? They're more labor intensive. The pond is more labor intensive than my greenhouse and way more labor intensive than my beehive, which is currently empty.
Yeah.
My bee dating game needs help. All right, I can keep them for a couple of dates and then they're gone. They pack up and leave. Uh, but getting back to the circling back, good military terminology there. Circling back, we're self reliant, and in military mindset, people usually are self reliant.
Yeah.
No one's coming to your rescue.
Right.
It's going to be you. If you're going to make it out of this, it's going to be you that does it. That's not what you run into in the city. And
Yeah.
along with that, there's other aspects, other tangents that go along with that ideology that some of them are favorable, some of them are not. In the city, you could say it's sponsors teamwork and a sense of community, whereas rural communities are more isolationist, into self reliant, independent. But at the same time, in the city, you know why there's so many high taxes everywhere? It's because when you're depending on other people for your existence, and you're not entirely self-reliant. Whereas if I want that, I need to figure out how to get it. I need to go get it. I need to build it. I need to make it. I need to grow it. If you're
Right.
expecting to get it from someone else, well, sooner or later, when you don't think you have enough of it, then you start complaining to the powers that be that they need to take more from the people who have abundance because you need more.
Yeah.
That's basically the bottom line on taxing and why your taxes are always going up and up and up because people want more. They want more. They want more services from government. They want more benefits from government. And that's an inner city, big city mentality. You don't get that out here. Out
Yeah.
here in the sticks, they want government to get out of their way. They want less government. It's like, I
Right.
don't need you meddling in my affairs. I got this. Leave me alone. I pay my
Right.
membership dues in the form of taxes every year. Just leave me alone. Put me on the do not call list. Thank you.
Right. Exactly.
What are your thoughts on that?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, I generally agree with every single thing you've been saying, right? And we were talking about like a little history, like going way back to like the story in the Bible of the creation of everything in Genesis and and how I expected like and maybe even I don't know why I thought this. So that tells me school or parenting, my family like that, that when it comes to gosh, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Yeah, ADD. You got ADD brain too. Trust me,
Sorry,
man.
somebody threw something over there.
That's look a squirrel. Yeah, yeah. I know, man. I know, brother. That's why I have so many half-finished projects. It's like I'm gonna build a coffee shop. Oh wait, it's raining. It's the rainy season. I got to stop that. I'm gonna build a beehive. I got beehives. Oh, now I'm gonna build some swarm traps. I built those. Yeah, my bees all left. I'll build a greenhouse and just
Okay, settle down. Stop. Stop.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember that I was thinking about cities and I was thinking about, you know, Cain and Abel and Cain kills Abel, in the Genesis story, and then Cain's cursed, and then like the first thing that Cain's son does is goes and forms a city. So, and it was like the pinnacle of evil for that time period, right? Like, was they went and formed a city. Because what did that mean? No longer are they providing for themselves. No longer they have to bring something else to the table to get something from the farmer who is on the ground. And so there's kind of like, I always thought, like I said, because of how I was raised, that like, anyway, when it comes to them and when it comes to like Cain and his children and making a city, I always thought that that was a pinnacle of civilization. Well, as we evolved to need to bring cities to the world, and that's a great thing. And if you get into the city as far as you can, you'll get paid more, you know, and all this stuff. And like cities are the best thing ever. And so for me to read the biblical account and like see, well, that's the pinnacle. That's the next worst thing that happened that made the world wicked enough to cleanse it with a flood. So that was the next step towards destruction.
Yeah, and you hit up on a good point too when you said, move to the city, you'll get paid more. You'll need more to live there.
Well, we all know that. I mean, yes, for sure. Exactly. So yeah, it was so vastly different what I learned about it, but as I started thinking about cities, it kind of made sense, right? You got more people that more mental illness, more homelessness, which those are linked, of course, to some extent, and
More
so it's
crime.
like more crime, more murder. We actually have a statistic, right? And we have for many years, like, what's the murder capital of the world right now? What's the murder capital of America?
I
And
guarantee
and
it's
they
some huge city.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, it's different to look at it that way and to see it that way and to think about self sufficiency and to think about, okay, I'm going to plant enough and grow enough so that we can make it through the winter, maybe a few winters. And I've got extra. Who had less this year? Okay, here you go. It was a simpler life and problems. Government is just picking up the responsibility that we dropped as humanity, as individuals, as people moved away from the land and congregated together in cities. You look like you had a thought.
I did, and this is where we probably have divergent paths along this line. I don't think people gave it up as much as they were enticed to give it up
Sure.
because they if you're providing all the people with their stuff, their necessities, you have control, you have power. And you have complete. If you control the food, you have complete power.
Right.
So and people don't like work. I don't like work. I just have to do it. You know. But if there's something they can, if there's a task they can shirk off, uh, then they will. They'll hand it over to somebody else. Hand it over to the government. The government's like, let me take care of that for you. Sure, thank you. It's one less thing on my plate. Well, now they control that aspect of your life, not
Of
you.
course. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. So I
It's
don't
like
know.
problems. It's like
Yeah.
problems. Whenever you have a problem, don't blame somebody else for your problem because that gives them the power to correct it. Own your issues, own your problems, because then if you own them, if they're your problem, then you have the authority and the power to fix it. If it's somebody else doing it, then that's beyond your authority and control.
Right. I like that.
That's one of the things the military taught me too. Is like, and I'm sure you encountered this, and I'll say it for you. Whenever one of your troops messed up, who they yell at?
Yeah.
You.
Of
You.
course.
No, that's your troop. That's your guy. But I did not tell him to jump off, jump off that building. I did not. I specifically told him in the safety brief to avoid any tall buildings. But you still got yelled at because it was your guy.
Yeah.
It was your troops. Because if it's your problem, you have the authority and usually the means to correct it. If you give that up, put it in somebody else's hands, then you're dependent upon them to fix it.
Yeah. Extreme ownership. Just seems like extreme ownership is in there.
Well, I had a chief. I'm sorry, I go on this little sidetrack here. I had a chief once along that same line. I was a young married guy living off base, had a wife and a kid, a small child, not a goat. I haven't got any of those yet. And I had a flat tire on the way to work, and I was late. That's like they put you in jail if you're late too many times in the military, right? It's a
Right.
completely different mindset. You don't be late. And I got there late, and the chief pulled me aside and said, "Why are you late?" I said, "Chief, I had a flat tire. I'm sorry." And he goes, "I couldn't help it." And he goes, "What do you mean you couldn't help it?" I was like, "I had a flat tire." And he said, "Did you ask anybody?" He said, why was your tire flat? It was because I bought these cheap tires. Well, did you ask anybody for any advice on what tires to buy? Don't blame it on the tire. Blame it on you.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that's extreme ownership. I can't help it. I ran over a nail. Well, that's your fault. You ran over the nail. I didn't tell you to drive in that lane. I didn't tell you to buy that cheap ass tire. It's your fault. Take ownership.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I had a staff NCO that took it a little bit further for me. It was like, okay, you're a staff sergeant now. If you have to take off an hour early to handle something, you go handle it, but you show up the next day an hour early or stay an hour late
That's
on
right.
your own. Right. And it's like you self regulate to pay back the Marine Corps for the time the Marine Corps gives you. Right. Like I'm taking an hour off early. I'm going to add that on somewhere else this week. And if I think that way, like it's kind of preventive maintenance for any kind of problem. If I think that way and try and, listen early to the lights on the dashboard, for instance, if I listen early, then, we don't end up in a place where I have no control. I was a victim, you know.
Yeah. But and if we can, I'd like to go back to the city rule thing because that was a really nice topic. I really enjoyed that. You were
Okay.
talking about Cain. His descendants built the first cities, and it reminded me of Sodom and Gomorrah, where the Lord sent the angels to
Right.
the one righteous man. Remember, he asked God. He said if you could, if I could find just 100 of them, will you spare the city? If you could find 100, I'll spare the city. Well, what if I can find just 10? If you can find 10, I'll spare this. What if I can just find one in the city?
In the city.
In the city. If I can just find one. And so God sent the angels. I believe it was Lot and his wife. Lot was righteous, and the people in the city tried to cost the angels. I won't get into sexuality here, but
Yeah.
they were trying to do things with the angels,
Right.
and Lot brought them in his house and protected. Even offered to throw his own daughters out to the crowd to spare the angels. And they said, "You got to leave. This city's going to be destroyed by fire and brimstone. You've got to leave and don't look back." And Lot's wife, of course, looked back, turned into a pillar of salt. So says the Bible. It wasn't the fact that she looked back to see the fiasco and the righteous destruction of Sodom. It's that she looked back with longing.
Yeah.
What she was giving up, that turned her into a pillar of salt.
Yeah.
And when things God puts behind you, don't look back at it with longing. If it's whatever, keep going forward. Yeah, I had a great life before, and things happened, and I've got a new life now. I miss aspects of that old life, but I'm not going to look back and go, oh man, if I can only go spend all my time looking backwards, you can't go forward.
Yeah. 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 She suffered the same fate because she looked back and wanted the same result, right? I mean, they're saying everything was turned to salt and radioactive, meteor or whatever the case, whatever it was, fire and brimstone from the sky, whatever that actually was.
Well, they found the little
But
sulfur balls. The
there you
site of
go.
Sodom, is still covered in these half burned sulfur balls. You can dig
Yeah.
them up right out of the ground, yellow sulfur balls, and some of them are still
Okay.
charred black. And there's parts of the desert that look like asphalt. So they found the evidence. They have evidence of it. It did happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was, but I guess cities keep getting worse and worse than Sodom and
That's
Gomorrah.
I believe we're there, brother. I believe they're exactly like Sodom and Gomorrah. They're godless. A lot of the ideology. I'm not talking about everybody in the city. I'm still looking for the 100 righteous men. I still hold out for that. But
Yeah.
for the overall, the city's godless. All those vices, crime, corruption, sexual immorality, we're there.
Mm,
That's why I like living out here. I like living
makes
out
sense.
in rural areas. I talk to God regularly every day. I wake up, talk to God. A lot of questions, not many answers. Have a lot of patience. I've learned that whatever situation I'm in, just to be patient, that there's something here he wants me to see, something here he wants me to learn, and it
Yeah.
may not be for my own benefit. It may be for the benefit of someone else that I'm going to run into later. It
Yeah.
may be for a, hey, I know where you've been. I've been in that same situation myself. Let me tell you what I found out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you take those missions. It's God's army. Armies take casualties.
Yeah. Wow. We explored that rabbit hole pretty well.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single nook or cranny left.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that makes me. I had a couple of thoughts while we were exploring that. Like, I have these thoughts about Ten Commandments, right? Because, Ten Commandments are, torn down on monuments and taken out of the schools and, just many years ago, for the decades ago, right? That those movements happened. But yeah, the Ten Commandments, when you really look at them and you maybe, like blur out your eyes and kind of look at the bigger picture, like those old 3D puzzles on the page or whatever you looked at, and as you zoomed out your eye, like something would just pop out of it. And maybe it's like that. But the Ten Commandments, like, they're like, if you want to live a happy, fulfilled life, try this, right? If you follow them, like, make if you codify them and make laws that are punitive about them, then I think you've taken it too far, because they're more like, yeah, here's life hacks from God himself. If somebody said that, I'd be like, okay, you at least got my attention. Life hacks from God himself. Like, if you just want to live the best possible human existence, try these things, right? Like, here you go, just care about other people. I mean, scientifically proven, long life, it just holds everything to care about other people, to serve other people.
Number one way to get out of depression, take the focus off yourself. Look at somebody else.
Yeah.
Starting to say, what can I do for that? I'm feeling horrible. I've got major depressive disorder, PTSD from my time in the military. And it's like, but you know what? When I get in those black cloud days where you don't even have the energy to get out of bed, you have to focus on doing something for somebody else. It's like,
Mm,
you know what? I'm going to go help. I'm going to do this for my wife today, or I'm going to do this for my son today, or I'm going to do this for my buddy Noe. I'm going to do something nice for him.
yeah.
You focus on helping other people, and it really does. It helps you pull you out of that black cloud, that depressive cloud,
Sure.
taking the focus off yourself. And the Ten Commandments, I used to think, as I mature and as I get older, a little bit more introspective. I used to think, well, as long as I don't break these 10 rules, I'm good.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the older I've gotten, I realize it was a ruler that God set up. It was like, hey, so in order to get into heaven with me, you have to be righteous. This is the measuring stick for righteousness. See if you can go through your whole life without breaking a single one. You can't. That's the
Right.
whole reason. That's the whole reason we had Jesus. That's the whole reason we
Right.
needed Jesus, because we
Right.
can't. He did, and it's His righteousness, His blood that covers our sin, our debt. Because you can't. I mean, like, well, I've never had another God before God. Really? You ever skip church? Skip church because to go fishing on the lake? Who was your God that day?
Let's not start on football, though.
Oh yeah. And you go right down the list. Well, I've never done this, never done that, never done. Really? Even like the adultery thing. I've never committed adultery. Jesus said if you look at another woman with lust, it's the same as having committed adultery in your heart. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, what man on the planet, well, what heterosexual man on the planet has never looked at another woman and went, wow, check that out. Bam, busted,
Yeah.
broke that
Yeah.
one. It's just, uh, it's a measuring stick that you cannot live up to. That was the
Right.
whole purpose. That's the whole reason why Jesus had to come here and had to pay the debt for us, because we couldn't.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it serves a lot of purposes, right? And the further down you go in understanding it, the more clear it gets, like, and the more you understand, you know. So as far as like anything Jesus said, or these 10 commandments, or anything God said directly, all these things, there's just so many layers. So you can say, I wonder what that word meant in King James English. Oh, okay. That means a little bit something different. Okay, I wonder what it means in ancient Greek. Oh, wow, that's a lot. That's opposite, or whatever.
Yeah,
As you dig
yeah.
down, you find so many things and you get to kind of
The
an
Bible
idea
wasn't
of what the real meaning is.
exactly the ancient Greek and the. I mean, the Bible wasn't written in English. It had to be translated. And then, as you know, some languages have words that you have to take two or three words in English to accomplish the
Right,
same. It's almost like a synergistic effect. It's not just that word. It's not just that word. It's kind of a mesh of all three of these words. And
right,
so and in King James English, I love the King James Bible. That's the one I use. That's one I like. But you have to look at the Greek and the Hebrew and see kind of to get some words don't translate exactly perfect.
right. Yeah, yeah, that's my point. Yeah, so the 10 Commandments. Yeah. If you want to live a long life, a long and happy and joyful life, here's some things to try. Right. And if you look at any one of them, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And not only that, but like, let's think about do not murder. It's almost like
I like the way you said that
I'm,
because I like the way you said that because the King James Bible says thou shalt not kill. The actual Hebrew word for it was thou shalt not murder. Murder involves hate in
right,
your heart, like
right,
soldiers.
right,
Soldiers kill, but we don't have hate in our heart for our enemy. We sometimes we respect them. They don't want to be out here doing this either. They're ordered to.
right. Yeah. Which is how we can wear the other hat of, okay, they're disabled, or they're, physically disabled, or at least we've got their weapons away from them. Now they're just another human being. They're another
Yeah,
soldier like me.
yep,
I'm going to safely transport them to wherever we're holding them. I'm going to provide food and lodging and water. And, so yeah. And we
yeah.
take the gun out of our hand. It's like, okay, come on
That's
over.
not kill. That's thou shalt not murder. And you were
True.
right on the money with that one.
Yeah. But when you think about it, it's like, well, let's go down that road. Why is it trying to stop you from doing that? Let's go down the murder road. Because when you start to see murdering, killing another human as a solution to a problem, you don't even have 10 years of life with people knowing that, right?
Yeah,
Whether they
yeah.
take care of themselves. The best serial killers, I'm sorry, they're not living to be 120. You know what I'm saying? That's a road that's dark and destructive, and you will guaranteed to die early, right? And so it's like, hey,
It
let me
rots your
save
soul.
you.
It
Yeah,
rots your soul. You rot. You start rotting from the inside out.
exactly. So when you think about thou, do not murder, thou shalt not kill. Well, murder's better, like you said. But when you think about it, and it's like, here, let me save you like a terrible short life if you listen to this rule, if you listen to that commandment. So it's like there's actually life there. And it's like, hey, by the way, let me save you 30 years of terrible experiences just by telling you, hey, try not to kill anybody else. And so every commandment is like that. It's like, let me save you a million of the wrong paths that don't work. Here you go. And I'm going to make it easy to understand. Here you go. Like a priceless truth that will change your life.
No,
So, yeah,
I had this visual in my mind when you were speaking of Adam and Eve back in the garden when they said you can eat of any of these the fruit of any of these trees, but do not eat from the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. For the day
right,
you do, you will surely die. It didn't mean instantaneously. It didn't mean and you pass out. It meant you're going down a path that leads to death.
Right.
You will die. The day you eat of this, you will begin to die, and you will die. And same thing with all the other sins and all the other commandments. They may not kill you instantly, but you are on the path to destruction. You will die. It will kill you. You'll rot from the inside out.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, I had that thought about the Ten Commandments that I just wanted to explore.
Well, and it's like, and when you said murder, I'm glad you picked that one. That's I think there's a severe injustice in our legal system. I don't call it a justice system anymore because justice left the building a long time ago. We have things that are
Okay.
legal, and we have things that are legal, and we have things that are illegal. And but justice rarely enters into the picture. But when you talk about murder, you got guys that are killing people, murdering people, and they're out in 8 years, out of prison in 8 years, out of prison in 10 years. That is the worst crime you could possibly ever commit. The number one. I mean, the word. If there's a reason for a death sentence or life imprisonment, that's it. It's
Yeah.
you got guys that cheat on their taxes, and they're in prison for 20 years, and the guy who murdered somebody is out in 8. It may be legal, but it's not just, because when you murder somebody, you don't just kill that person. You
Right.
kill that entire family tree from there on out. Every grandchild, great grandchild is just
Right.
snapped out of existence. When you kill when you murder one person, you murder that whole family line. And so in my mind, in my belief, that's the worst crime you could ever commit, and we should put that up at number one. And all the other crimes ranked in severity should fall somewhere underneath that.
Right.
That's just my idea.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing it with us. Well, and I was thinking, and I made a note too, of as proof of our resilience training in the military, like, I think there's a manual on the 10 rules for being captured alive by the enemy, right? It's like you're all by yourself, you're in enemy camp where they want to see your defeat. Everything is deceptive to try and give information out of you, and living that life. And
I'm an
that's what we
American
were
fighting
trained
man.
for.
I serve in the forces that defend my country and my way of life. I will
I
never
yeah,
surrender myself nor my. Yeah, I'm with you. As long as I
I
have the
will
means to
resist.
resist. That's right.
Exactly. I will always fight for my freedom and to escape and to overcome my captors and blah blah blah. Yeah, exactly.
We know the
And
rules.
so we have rules for that. Like other people can't even. That's a horror movie. Just that little bit of
Yeah.
10 rules for being captured alive. Like
Yeah.
actually that is the content of most horror movies these days is being captured alive and tortured in some way, right? It's like America's biggest fear. And we've got a manual for that. Yeah, we I did some training in that.
Yep.
It was pretty good. I learned a
Yep.
lot. It's like, you know,
Maintain camaraderie with your fellow prisoners. Set up a chain of command. That's
yeah.
yeah. We all know the code of
And
conduct.
there's TV shows about that people found entertaining, like Hogan's Heroes and a few others where the guys are in captivity for the show and they just continue to resist. And it's I've seen some movies like that too, like German prisoner of war camps where they resisted. I think it was a Bruce Willis movie. I don't remember the name of it. But yeah, like we
Heart's
that's
War.
there you go. Those are the things we hold up and say this is how it is.
Yep. And it's an ideal. Like one of the things, it's a goal. One of the things like SEER school and things like that they teach you is everybody breaks. You will not make it through without breaking. Everybody will reach some point where they will break. The idea is to resist and hold out long enough so that any information you have is completely worthless by the time you give it to them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, and when I hear that, I'm like, that makes sense. Yep, I was trained in that too. But when another person, even my same age, hears that, they're like, I don't even know what to do right now, you know?
Yep. It's like shoving bamboo shoots under your fingernails. It's like, I can't take it anymore. But maybe I could tell them tomorrow. Maybe I'll give my fellow servicemen just one more day to carry on, the
Exactly.
attack, or to carry on the attack, or tomorrow I'm quitting tomorrow, and
Yeah.
then tomorrow comes, I'm quitting tomorrow, and the day after that, I'm quitting tomorrow.
Exactly. We have movies about that too. Like that's a thing, Oh my goodness. Yeah. So it's those are the couple of thoughts I had while we were talking about homesteading and, traipsing through the Bible here and there.
Yeah, I tell you, my homesteading is very rewarding, but at the same time, it's a lot of work, baby. It's a lot of work. And I've just got like a real small little homestead going here, man. I was looking at it. I recently entertained the idea of building a gasifier. Are you familiar with those?
You were telling me about them earlier, but I had never heard of it before.
It's not a new idea. It's old technology. They were used in World War I and World War II. People, when gasoline and diesel was in short supply or rationed, people built gasifiers. They ran their cars and their farm equipment on firewood. They built these, and FEMA even has a free downloadable guide to show you how to build your own gasifier. All the
Huh.
stats, all the stuff, and basically you throw firewood in it, and you have two pots, an outer pot and an inner pot. And the inner pot is like a pressure cooker with a lid and a little steel copper line, going out of it. Steel as in a distillery, not steel as in metal. A little
Oh,
copper
okay.
line, little copper line going out of the pressure pot, and the outside pot that the inside pot, the inner pot's sitting in, that's filled with firewood, and you light it on fire. The wood in the inner pot in the pressure cooker gets so hot that it off gases. It off gases wood gas, which is combustible. It
Yeah.
goes through the little copper tube, through a series of bubblers to get the tar out of it, and water separators, and eventually it goes into your carburetor of your tractor, your car, your generator, etc., and crank that bad boy up, man. So as long as you got firewood, you got electricity, or you've got transportation. And people
Yeah.
use those. They've got pictures on them on the internet. You can see like these old Model T trucks with this huge chimney looking, looks like a giant smoker in the back of the truck, or attached to the side of the truck, where people were using firewood as fuel to use their cars. I was thinking, that's ADD kicked in. I was like, I need to build one of those. What am I doing this weekend? I
Exactly.
need to build a gasifier. But it's just that's self reliance in the technology. We've lost so much, like the cell phones we have. We lost so much of the previous generation's knowledge. I'm starting to get in touch with some of that again. I was walking through my property and going, oh, hey, look at that. That's a dandelion. Most people see that as a weed. Oh, it's messing up my lawn. I look at that and I'm going, that's food and medicine. Dandelion greens are very nutritious.
Yeah.
You make a tea out of that. There's medicinal purposes. I just went around my property, and here's a neat hack, not a hack, but a neat tip for you. On your phone, on Google search, it's got the little camera square to the right, where you can type in something, or you can hit the mic button, or you can hit the little square for a camera. And if you hit the little square, it brings up open up your camera on my iPhone. I can take a picture of something and hit enter, and it searches all the results for the images, and it shows you what it is you're looking at. I went around my
Okay.
property. I went around my property and went, "What's that?" And they're like, "That's wild lettuce. That is a natural form of a morphine-like substance. It's not addictive. It's a very, very powerful painkiller that you cannot get addicted to. It has no addictive properties." I'm like, well, that's nice to know if I ever hurt myself and need pain pills. I mean,
Right.
I can't get any, my doctor's 2 hours away. I can make a tincture or a tea out of this or a poultice, and put it on a wound. But most people look at that stuff and they're like, get rid of it. It's a weed. I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah.
keeping that. I'm keeping that. I'm going to cultivate that. I'm going to cultivate that. I'm going to cultivate this. And there's just so many different things. Um, I've got a huge patch of goldenrod growing in my yard. Make big, beautiful yellow flowers late in the
Yeah.
summer, and
Yeah.
I did not realize it because I had all this ragweed growing in my yard, right? And sinuses were really bothering me. You know what goldenrod does? It's an antihistamine. It's a natural. Yeah, goldenrod. You can make a tea out of the goldenrod and get, it's nature's Claritin D, baby.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I've got that that's causing me sinus issues. I got that growing over there that takes care of them. I got that growing over there that takes. God provided all these things, but
Yeah.
Most people don't know this stuff. It's all this lost technology.
It's like a pharmacy that's just growing in the yard. It's just growing
Yeah, and
and
it's
multiplying.
oh yeah, it's but we've lost all this knowledge, and I don't think thousands of years ago that man was stupid. I think he would look at us and go, "You're stupid. How do you not know this?"
Right.
Like for instance, our cell phones. When I was a kid, I didn't carry around an address and phone book with me everywhere I went, but I knew like 15 phone numbers of my best friends. You know how many phone
Yeah.
numbers I memorize now? Mine and my wife's. Everybody else is in my phone. I had to look up their name.
Yeah.
If this thing goes down, I'm in trouble, baby. I'll have to grab somebody else's phone and go, hey, you know this person too. What's their number? Send it to me.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting smarter. We're getting better with technology, but I think we're trading knowledge and self resilience for that technology.
Yeah. For comfort and
Going back to the city,
convenience.
going back to the cities, man. Let the government take care of it for you. Don't rely on yourself.
Yeah.
Let the government handle it for you.
Yeah.
But I
They
like
send you
Thomas
a little.
Jefferson. I like Thomas Jefferson's quote on that. A government that's powerful enough to give you everything you want is powerful enough to take everything you have.
Hmm. Well, yeah, they can give it, they
Pretty
can take it away.
pretty smart guy. That's why he's on the $2 bill
Dang it.
and the nickel.
Like, that's why I couldn't get him on the podcast.
Yep, that's right. He was preoccupied, previously engaged.
And yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking you were talking about homesteading a minute ago, like it's hard work. But I had the instant thought, I didn't want to interrupt you in that moment, was like, I've been finding that hard work is its own reward. It already pays for itself in how I feel while I'm doing it, how easy it is to form relationships side by side who are working hard with me. So yeah, that aspect that, it's hard work, it's like, so it's paying you twice. Not only, do you have a working pond that is closely monitored and helped and regulated, you know, but you also got to do some hard work when you did it, right? So I don't know, it's a whole different school of thought, but
I'm too short sighted to appreciate the hard work while I'm doing it. I just see it as painful. Like
yeah,
like the guy, God told the guy to go outside the door and push against this huge boulder every day. He said, move the boulder. And the guy goes out and struggles, can't move the boulder. And the next day, God says, move the boulder. Guy goes outside and pushes and pushes and pushes against this boulder, doesn't move an inch. And over time, every single day he's doing this, he's pushing this boulder, and he gets to where he can just barely move it an inch. And he's like, well, that was an exercise in frustration and futility. And then he comes across the guy who's trapped under a wagon and can't get out. He's going to die. The wagon doesn't weigh near as much as that boulder. And he's able to
yeah,
lift the wagon just enough. The guy can scramble out underneath or they can pull him out from underneath the wagon. That was why all that hard work. That's why he had him pushing that boulder. Now,
yeah,
he didn't appreciate pushing the boulder at the time,
right,
and it didn't make any sense. He never got anywhere with it. He did not succeed in moving the boulder, but the boulder was not the lesson. The boulder was not the goal. It's kind of like homesteading. When I do all this hard work, man, I don't like it when I'm out there sweating. It's over 100 and something degrees out here. I'm in the sun. It's hot. I get dizzy. I got to stay hydrated. And then you got to pee all the time because you're drinking so much water. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I do like being able to look out that pond on the cool evenings and seeing the frogs and the whole family of turtles I got and all the fish I know that are in there that I can't see them. Even the snakes. I came across a couple of snakes. I got like a little ecosystem going out there, and I don't like
okay,
I don't like venomous snakes. I kill the copperheads as soon as I see them. But I've come across all kinds of other little snakes, uh, about the size of your index finger, big around, and they're maybe a foot long, little garter snakes. Or I learned about a new snake I'd never known before. It was a ribbon snake, It looks like a garter snake. It's black and it's got the two green stripes on its back, but then it's got two white stripes, and right down the middle it's got like a little red stripe, and it's very pretty. And it eats frogs and tadpoles and stuff like them, stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, good job, carry on. And I came across a hognose snake the other day. He was laying on the edge of my gravel driveway and where the grass starts, so I didn't see him because he's right on that line, right? And anybody knows anything about hognose snakes, they are drama queens.
No.
Yeah, drama queens big time. They're harmless. And when I say harmless, I mean their fangs that they have are in the very back of their mouth and they're pointed backwards. They're for like if they're eating a frog or something and the frog tries to swell up, they can pop the frog and still eat him.
Okay.
In order to get bit by a hognose, you'd have to stick your finger down his throat.
Yeah.
But they are hilarious snakes. They king bluffers. This guy, he was probably about 3 feet long, the biggest one I ever seen in my life. That's why at first I didn't think it was a hognose. He was about as big around as my forearm, right
Yeah.
there, and like 3 feet long or better. And he popped up and fanned out his neck like a cobra. And
Yeah.
I was like, we don't have cobras in Texas. What are you? And then he started doing this, waving his head side to side. And I was like, and that's not how cobras act. And I got a closer look at him, and see the hog nose. His nose is like blooded and pointed up like a hog's, and had round
Yeah.
eyes. And he was just swaying back and forth. I'm dangerous. Stay away from me. I'm a cobra. And I'm like, you are not a cobra. And so I started poking him with his stick, and he's like, quit it, quit it, quit it. If once the bluff isn't working, hog noses will play dead. And they will go to extremes like Hollywood B movie playing dead. And they'll flop around, they'll twist, and then they'll flip over on their backs. And they're like, oh, I'm dead. They'll leave their mouth wide open. Yeah, they're serious drama queens. But they eat frogs and mice and all kinds of little things you don't want around anyway. And so I'm like, I poked him
Yeah.
with a stick. Get out of here, man. Go to work. So poked him with a stick, and he did his cobra thing all the way across the yard. As he
Yeah.
was going, you're not fooling anybody. But you learn all kinds of stuff, and it's really interesting to be in touch with nature. You feel better. It's better for you. The serotonins kick in, man. You feel great just having contact with the earth. Some people have called it grounding, where you take off your shoes and socks and just stand on the ground.
Yeah.
And I don't know the science behind that, or if it's legit, or if it's pseudoscience, but I know that just being outside and working in the dirt, there's a wholesomeness to it,
Yeah.
and it's almost restorative. So yeah, I say homestead, man, it's worth it. A lot of work,
Yeah.
but it's worth it.
I think that's a really good and I feel well-rounded advertisement for it. And, but yeah, that's the way it is in rabbit holes. We get down there, we make a home in a rabbit hole until we see another rabbit hole.
Yep.
So,
And this one just keeps going on. We went from
well,
cities to political to God to hog snake drama queens.
there you go. And we might have covered a part of everything, a part, a small part. But yeah, thanks for joining me today. And it was wonderful to be able to talk with you about these topics and thank you for sharing some of this with the rest of the world or whoever listens to the podcast.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was a pleasure to be here. I always enjoy our conversations, whether we're doing a podcast or if it's just a phone call, brother.
Yeah, yeah. And I do too, of course. Yeah, we meet on equal ground there. So, okay. Well, thanks, Jeff. Bye.
Bye.